website, and he's very impressed, wants your autograph. He now has more to strive for. He was very impressed by you and still wondered why my picture was ahead of yours. It's because I talk first, that's why. Anyway, please welcome Sanjay Burman.
Okay. Well, actually, it's funny because that was never the reaction when I was in high school. I remember walking into the kitchen and seeing my father look at me and pop a blood pressure pill. So I thought, I'm going to kill my father for just being who I am. I thought it was normal to sell your high school to Pepsi for $1.2 million without anybody being notified or asking for permission. I didn't know you're not allowed to sell government property. True story. And I guess my career started by getting into trouble. It was always white-collar crime, by selling my school or changing the school logo because it didn't reflect the modern day and turning it into a saber-toothed tiger with blood dripping down, but selling out the clothing like crazy. I produced my first TV show on CBC when I was 16 years old. It was the first reality show called Life the Program, and it was literally a reality show where we follow people around with a camera, including my parents, from the time that they would wake up to the time that they would go to bed. And eventually we became so comfortable with it that I actually caught them having an argument in the kitchen. And it spiraled, and then they realized who the instigator was and turned on me, which became very common later on. I produced my first feature film, which was David Cronenberg's Spider, when I was 23 years old. It was a script that landed, it was orphaned, and we took it and started running with it. And basically by sitting in front of David Cronenberg's house on a Wednesday night for 3 hours until he came in and then saying, oh my God, what a coincidence. We were just passing by, and selling him on the script and going on to win Con and nominated for an Oscar, winning TIFF. That's a great ring. Mine's boring. So I guess that led to producing features, television shows, and later on left all of that to become a hypnotherapist, which I still am on weekends, helping with addictions and people losing their way and coming back. And then starting a publishing company for motivational and self-help books. Writing a couple of books that have done well myself, which shocked the hell out of my English teacher from grade 10, who thought that I was an idiot, and told me so many times. Very supportive people. And the publishing company has taken off. We were launched with The Secret, all the authors from The Secret, and are now in 10 countries in 8 languages. We've gone back to producing documentaries and things that are based on the books. I guess my role in this, I'm not really an artist. I'm more of the preneur, part of the title is what I do. I think that you can accomplish anything you want at any age the minute you decide to, and the minute you understand what it is you actually want to do. I think that most of the people that are kind of going in circles are doing so not because they don't have the ability to get to where they want to go. I think it's because they haven't identified where they really truly want to go. And that's like being a sailboat without any sails in the middle of the ocean. You'll go whatever direction the wind blows, but you'll never hit land. And then you'll wonder why that is. And I take that around to working with the government. I mean, working with government people is a lot of fun. That's like watching an orphanage burn down. But yet they still get it. And so I guess the point here is to say that you can get whatever you want if you're determined to. I think Ashton Kutcher basically shows that. Thank you.
Actually, if you don't mind me asking this before you leave the microphone, I know it's a simple question, but since I read it, I've been wondering how you did this. Can you elaborate a little bit more on the Pepsi deal with your high school? Like 1.6, $1.2 million? $1.2
million, yes. I like 1.6 though. You can 3.3, whatever you like.
How did this happen?
I was president of the student association and was sitting around bored one day and saw a guy who came in with a suit and thought that's not normal, and followed him into the principal's office, and he would put an envelope with a Pepsi logo down, and I told him that I'm the president, that I have the authority to open the envelope. And he was essentially trying to put a Pepsi machine into the school. So I called him the next day and said that I had been given the right to negotiate the deal, and we want $1 per student to buy in, then we want 10 cents per can, then we want posters, then we want textbooks, then we want computers, and then we wanted a Pizza Hut. Because we really didn't like the French fries or the sandwiches.
Yes.
And we thought a Pizza Hut would work well. And they kept saying yes, so I just kept asking for more. And finally it took 3 months to negotiate the deal, and they needed a signature from the superintendent.
So nobody was in the loop of this while you're doing
Nobody
it?
was in the loop of this. I would go home at night, return his calls, and then get his phone calls to me from the secretary at the school, and running this thing back and forth. And when my parents were called into the principal's office, he said, you know, he sold the school, you can't do that, so we have to expel him. And I remember my father looking at me and looking at him and saying, well, we told him never to do that. Well, see, now I thought that was funny, but when I laughed, it was the longest drive home I've ever experienced. With, why can't you be normal? What is wrong with you?
Well, obviously there's nothing wrong with you. You've come so far.
Very much.
And I don't think anybody has ever gotten away with that since, I'd imagine.
Thank you. Well, and Ron, but yes, that's a whole different story.
Sanjay, everyone.